We've all read about people getting out of jail in the craziest ways. A lot of people who are in jail have tried to get out at least once during their term, using bulldozers, pretend shopping trips, or a scary amount of laxatives. However, Richard Lee McNair, a condemned killer, is better known for his long number of prison escapes than for the acts that put him in jail in the first place. It all started in 1987 at the North Dakota Minot Air Force Base during a failed robbery. McNair shot and killed one guy and hurt another. When the cops came to question McNair, he was tied to a chair and put in a room with 3 agents. At this point, the person who was going to prison got his first taste of escape. McNair was able to get a hold of a detective's lip balm and use it to grease his hands enough to get out of his chains when the police left him alone. The man's escape led to a foot chase around town, but he was quickly caught in a building. He apparently jumped from the 3rd floor, hit his back, and hurt himself, which made it much easier for the police to arrest him. After that, McNair got 2 life terms for murder and attempted murder, plus 30 years for burglary. Though, this was just a practice run for the prisoner. As time went on, he tried to escape with more risk. McNair was in the North Dakota State Penitentiary in October 1992 when he and 2 other prisoners did an Andy Dufresne from the Shawshank Redemption and escaped through a ventilation duct. The other 2 men were caught quickly, but McNair wasn't caught until July 1993, 9 months later in Nebraska. He was then sent to the Minnesota Correctional Facility in Oak Park, a level 5 jail from which no one has ever escaped. After several years at the facility, McNair realized he would not be able to get out of the secure cell. He then took part in a sit-down strike that led to his return to North Dakota and later to the Florence High Penitentiary in Denver, Colorado. He was then moved again to a maximum security federal prison in Louisiana. McNair's job here was to fix mailbags that were torn so they could be sent to post offices to be used. The prisoner jumped jail for the 3rd time on April 5, 2006, after spending months planning yet another escape. He did this by hiding in an escape pod. He made himself out of things he had on hand, which included a breathing tube. McNair's crate was shrink-wrapped and taken to a nearby factory outside the jail fence. It was buried under a stack of mailbags. The escape artist just cut himself out of the board and walked away when the staff left for lunch. A police officer saw McNair running on a train track near Ball, Louisiana, a few hours after his jailbreak. The cop stopped and asked him where he was after hearing about an escape nearby. Even though he didn't have any ID on him and matched the officer's description of the escaped prisoner before stopping the inmate, McNair was able to talk his way out of the situation. That his name was Robert Jones, and that he was just a visitor in town to help with a roofing job after Katrina. Even though he lied and said his name was Jimmy Jones 5 minutes later, the police officer didn't notice that his story had changed. The cop then told him to bring ID with him next time. They laughed together and McNair ran off to freedom. For the next year and a half that McNair was free, he used a number of fake names. He even sent Christmas cards to the jail, where he was meant to be locked up. He was caught again though, 100 miles north of the line in Campbellton, New Brunswick, on October 24, 2007. The 63-year-old man is currently living in a concrete cell at the ADX Florence Super Maximum Security Jail, which is also home to famous crooks such as Dzhokhar Tsarnaev, the Unabomber, Ted Kaczynski, and Richard Reed, the Shoe Bomber. He has also said that his new home is in the safest part of the safest prison in the world. Richard Lee McNair's escape from prison remains one of the most daring and successful in American history. But what do you think? Did he truly deserve his freedom, or should he have faced the consequences of his actions? Share your thoughts in the comments below.